Hello, welcome to Let's Talk with me, your host, Irene Solo. This is a beautiful day. I say this is the day the Lord has made, that we rejoice and be glad in it. I've come to realize one thing, that every challenge that we face, there's a lesson to be learned. And many people take it for granted, but the challenge may be directed to you, or you may see that challenge on somebody else's life. But trust me, there is a lesson to be learned. I've These days I live my life in a way that I am willing to learn. I'm open-hearted. I look at things constructively. I I concentrate, I meditate, I pray more to understand what is going on around me, because I've realized everything that is going on, there is an explanation. Trust me, there is. You may not know that explanation at that time, but there is a lesson to be learned. Every challenge, it doesn't matter how bad it may look or how good it may look, there is a lesson to be learned. Hence, the Bible says that all things work together for good, for the good of them that love the Lord and them that are called according to his purpose. This scripture bothered me over the years. I'm like, how can something bad happen and then it will turn out for my good? It depends with the lesson that you're willing to learn from it. So today, I'm not going to continue with too many stories. This is the last Thursday of the month of April. I want us to recap. I've been bringing a lot of guests, and they've been coming and giving us great nuggets. They've been challenging us. They've been encouraging us emotionally. They've been showing us how they've been resilient through life. Some of them are still walking through it. Some are still trying to get up. But their life stories have made us realize that we all have challenges to face, but whatever we learn from it is what determines how we come out of it. So today we're going to recap throughout the different people different guests that I've spoken to. I will slide through their pictures, and then we will talk about the different things that we spoke about. You remember, there are many people we've spoken to them. So I just want us to talk to them, to talk about the things we spoke about, and then understand, what did you learn from it, and what are they trying to bring across, their stories. What are we learning from their stories? It's one thing for somebody to talk, and it's another thing for you to be willing to learn from it. So today, I'm going to invite Matimba Power, one and only, the director of Yahweh TV, to join me so that we can have a discussion on this. He will also contribute, as much as he will also be wanting to know what I've learned from all these things and how they've helped me. And I will also want to hear a bit of nuggets from him and what he learned, because he was also listening, what he learned from it. And anybody in the audience, if you also want to say something about all these discussions, what you learned and how they've helped you. Somebody sent me a message the other day and they told me, please continue with the good work that you are doing, because my life is being changed every day, and I'm realizing that I should not sit down and complain, because something great will definitely happen. And I was quite encouraged when I heard that, because when she said that, I understand that I can do better, and I understand that great things are yet to come. So that was a great opportunity for me to realize that, okay, we are impacting people's lives positively. So I don't know where you are and what you're doing, but this is the time. Come out from your shell and let us talk. Let us talk. It's time to talk. Okay, so thank you so much. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, woman of God, for the opportunity to be with you on
Mhm.
Let's Talk by Irene. So I'm grateful, man. How are you
Thank you.
doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a wonderful day. Every day is an opportunity to be grateful. No matter the challenges you face, there is something to learn positively from it. That's my attitude these days.
That's so beautiful.
Yes.
Looking back at the shows that you have really been graciously enabled to pull together with your great guests, just like you said, there's a lot that has been dished out. You have
Yeah.
had powerful guests, and I
Mhm.
should also take the moment to commend that you are one of the finest and most gifted hosts to be a host, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
And
Thank
you
you
have
very
you,
much.
you just have this way where you're able to captivate your audience, engage them, listen, and just know where to talk and where to come in and build it up. And just also to look back on the recent one before we start from the beginning. The
Mm-hmm.
recent one when you had a lady by the name of Chris
Chris, yes,
Lidon.
Chris,
Yeah,
Chris
you
Ledon.
she was it was an atmosphere of love. You could just feel the love of God in the air. And it was beautiful to see you guys just loving on each other.
Mm-hmm.
We will never get to a place where we really understand the profundity of the impact that God is using you to touch. More special that you have got grace to bring black and whites and people in different nations. It takes grace.
Yeah.
You are truly gifted in that area, woman of God. And I just wanted to appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much. There's one thing I've come to realize as children of God, we are one. Color is not an issue, complexion is not an issue. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, that is not an issue. We are one. Hence, my mommy, I call her Mommy Dearest. Mommy used to say, everybody is important, just love
Yeah.
them. My mom used to say, I will just help you love. So you bring somebody
Oh,
to my mom, she will just help you love. So that was my
true.
mom's motto. So I believe in just loving people. Sometimes I know people don't understand
Sure.
me because they don't understand how can you just love people like this. Seriously, this I
Mm,
don't know myself, but I just love. And I genuinely just love, not because I want anything, but I just love.
mm.
And I think it's the
That's
right thing to do.
beautiful.
And I appreciate the guests that I've had. Man, they've become brothers to me. They've become sisters. I just love them.
Mm.
From the bottom of my heart, I really
Amen.
appreciate them greatly. Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Let me take you back to when you dealt with the benefits of fasting with
Yes.
Lillian Sander and Lisa Rose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How important is fasting to you, and how have you seen God use fasting to keep you through and through all the ups and downs, the vicissitudes of life that you have gone through?
This will amaze you. Fasting, I don't take fasting as a duty. I see fasting as a ministry, and I also see fasting as a lifestyle.
Mm,
Over the years, as I always said before, I've lost so many people in my life. And I'm this
mm.
kind of person who always, if I can be given an opportunity to meet death, I think I'll be the first person to strangle death because
Oh,
I get, I find like death has been so unfair. A lot of things that people have been able to navigate, have not were supposed to be in my life, died so early. But
mm,
yet, throughout with this, I learned that no matter how touching and how challenging a situation may be, I learned to coil back to God. Hence, I
mm,
value fasting a lot because when I get to a place where it is too much for me to handle, I literally let go of me. I let go of Irene. I let go of whatever I thought I knew. And I surrender completely to God. I'll be in a place where I'm like, God, you know what? I am here. Help me. It's not about what I think I know, it's about what you have said. So when I
mm,
get into fasting, I have a tendency of I'm not the same food that I even denied myself. I look for a way to give it to somebody else, not because I am
mm,
forced to do it, but I look at
mm,
fasting as a ministry and as a way of life that even as I deny myself, let me give it to somebody else. And fasting has
mm,
helped me because uh, health wise, there was a time I was struggling with ulcers. I was just struggling with ulcers. I will
mm,
be running left, right, and center. It was just not easy. Every time you see me drinking milk, but then when I focused on prayer and fasting, ulcers, it disappeared without me even knowing how it disappeared. But one time I just realized it was no longer there. So fasting has
mm,
helped me a lot, even dealing with my mental my mom's passing, my husband's
mm,
passing, my father's
mm,
passing, my grandma's passing. You know,
mm,
one of my favorite cousins that passed away sometimes back, my mom's sister, that's another one that hit me hard. My grandmother, I used to call her, I was, that was my, she was a lovely lady, and I loved my grandma. All these
mm,
things. Through fasting and prayer, I learned to deny myself of even my own negative emotions and literally
mm.
surrender to God and pour out everything that I am to Him. So when these ladies came in to talk about fasting, when you listen to
Yes.
Lilia, when you listen to Lisa, you understand that, wow, there are people who value this fasting as much as I do. And you had the
Mm,
different nuggets that Lisa brought. You had the different nuggets that Lilia brought. It makes you understand that, hey, it is time to get up and take this fasting
mm,
serious. People like Lilia, even God, literally, when everybody had given up, the society had given up that she could never be able to have kids, she had
mm.
kids through that
Yes.
fasting, because continuously
Wow.
her body healed through that fasting. So there are just
Wow.
different ways of fasting that people need to do, but don't look at it as a duty, because when you look at it as a duty,
Mm,
it is difficult. But when you look at it as a service, and if you look at it as a lifestyle, man, it will be
mm,
beneficial. I remember when Lisa was talking. Lisa is so passionate about fasting. So in her podcast Sunshine Cafe, she talks more about fasting. That's where her ministry is. She is passionate
wow.
about it, and God has helped her throughout the years. When I heard
Mm,
somebody's passionate about fasting, I was like, this is great. This is great. Fasting is not just a duty. It is a ministry. It is a lifestyle. And both Christians and non-Christians, both in the church sector and outside the church sector, it is good for you
mm.
to fast, because it will remove some unnecessary things in your body and remove a lot of sicknesses that could have come because of
Mm.
negligence.
Wow. That's
Yes.
powerful. And the Lord, looking at that, the Lord deals with his disciples after they struggled to chase out a demon out of this young boy,
Yeah.
and they went to Jesus in private and said, Lord, why couldn't we deal with that demonic force?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he mentions out few important things. Is number one, because of your unbelief.
Yeah.
And after dealing with the issues of faith, then he takes it up and says, but this kind
Mm-hmm.
do not come out but by prayer and fasting.
Yeah.
Life is a battle. You have faced so many lives,
Yeah.
and the Lord has taken you through. You have dealt with stress, you have dealt with loss, you have
Mm-hmm.
dealt with anxiety, and spiritual forces that has capacity to crush people down. I mean, I got to learn that a nation, I won't mention the name, spends over 300 billion US dollars every year to help its citizens deal with stress.
Mm-hmm.
It's affecting production at work and all
Mm-hmm.
of that. And your journey, when I look at your journey, because I also had the privilege to have met you for more than 25 years now,
Mm-hmm.
is that number one, as a South African, me as a South African,
Mm.
and I represent a certain group of South Africans. When you do not travel, there's a certain level of empowerment that you do not get,
Yeah.
because traveling exposes you. There's a
Mm.
certain level of mindset that you have to have in order to break the limit. You came to SA as a young lady and leaving your nation and come to SA and survived and made it and prospered and changed lives. And still you move from SA to USA now, and still the Lord is keeping you. How have you dealt with this kind, of forces that has a way of crushing one's spirit and just close you into a place of limitations? How has the Lord helped you in that area?
That's a hard one, but anyway, to be sincere, life has its challenges. I will repeat that. And
Yeah.
there's one thing I've learned. throughout my journey in life, I'm learning, the more I'm growing, I realize
mm,
that I need to work on me. I stopped looking at somebody else, because before,
mm,
even we have the tendency, when you hear a motivational speaker speaking, or you hear a preacher preaching, or you read
mm,
something, you always have a way of thinking, that one, so and so needs to listen to that one, that one applies to so and so, things like that. But I've gotten to a point where I don't look at things like that. Anytime I listen to something, I ask myself, why did I hear this? What does it
mm,
have to do with me? How is it teaching me? What am I learning from it? That's the level that I got to. I learned to deal with me. I learned to improve me, because I
mm.
realized if I work on me, it will be easier for me to be able to handle other people. I've traveled different
Wow.
countries, and I'm still traveling by the grace of God. As I
Amen.
travel and I go to different places, one thing I've learned to do is to love people for who they are. I appreciate
Wow.
people for who they are. I have these days I avoid judging people based on what people told me or what I assume. I don't like assumption. So I'm the kind of
Mm,
person that if I'm not sure of something, I will come ask you. I better ask you than ask
mm,
somebody else. So I'm very direct with. So to some extent that has helped me, because I focus more on working on me. I focus more on
mm,
teaching me to be patient, teaching me to care, teaching me to stop being judgmental. I've focused on teaching me to be contented. I'm this kind of person that even you give me $1, you give me one rent, I will look for a way to use that one rent for the benefit of myself and the people around me. I do not look for opportunities to complain. I look for opportunities to appreciate what I have, because I've realized contentment has goes a long way of helping you as a
mm.
person to grow. So I
Wow.
think basically my answer to you is I have learned to work on me.
Sure. Thank you so much. That's powerful. You had a guest, darling Steve Meza.
Darlington
That
Steve.
was,
Yeah.
yes. I apologize for the
Yeah. Mm.
pronunciation. But that was another deep, profound, informative conversation between two Africans.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, when I was watching you guys that day, what was fascinating about me is this, about the whole issue was this. One is the Kenyan talking to a Nigerian. The Nigerian is in South Africa, the Kenyan is in America. And you are discussing African challenges. It was just beautiful. So I'm looking at that. What are the things, some of the things that you can recall from that conversation, more especially because of the challenges that we have as Africans? I mean, as a Kenyan in SA, you've gone through a lot, rejection and xenophobia and all of those things. And the Lord kept you through and through. Looking back at that conversation and some of the things that servant of God shared were so profound and powerful. What are your thoughts there?
You know, I call him my Afropolitan apostle. You know, he
Wow.
is very, he's very diverse. And when you
Yeah.
listen to him, you realize that many people don't understand how much our heart is open towards our fellow brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. For instance, my husband, South African, or was South African. I don't like to say is. I like to say I don't like to say was. I always believe people don't really die personally. They are not present with you in the body, but I still believe they're around spiritually. So I don't really like to use the word was. So I always say my husband South African. Okay, my kids are South African. I am from Kenya. Okay, I was talking to Afropolitan Apostle, our one and only. He's married to a South African lady, having South African kids. So we've
Mm,
been in South Africa. There's been xenophobia. There's been rejection. There's been people looking down on you. When I was growing up, I was known to be a tough lady, always ready to you give me A, I will give you B and C. You give me Y, man, I'll give you Z and bring it back to you. I was always ready. But then when I came to South Africa, as bad as it may seem, I learned one thing:
mm,
we are one. Secondly, the other thing I learned is just because you think you know, you don't have to impose it on somebody else. Because there are a lot of
wow.
things I learned in South Africa where you will be told you must learn. The you
Mm,
must learn was more commonly in the language. I came in speaking English. First of all, you have to know I'm a village girl. So I was not speaking English
mm,
in the village. I'm speaking my mother
wow.
tongue. I was very good with my
Mm,
mother tongue. So Kenya teaches you the national language is English and it's Swahili. So I learned
mm,
Swahili and English, but the common one is Swahili and my mother tongue. So coming to South
mm,
Africa, it means I have to now uh, push myself, because that was really pushing myself to be able to speak English every day. That was not easy because I'm used to speaking my mother tongue. Then you're meeting these
yeah.
people who tell you when you speak English, they're telling you, no, I'm not hearing you. You are a black person. You must learn
Hey,
African language. Oh, you like,
hey.
come on. I remember one incident that even happened. I was so angry when I met the policemen and they were like, you must learn. And I started speaking in Swahili, and because I was so angry, I didn't know what to say, and I started speaking in Swahili. And the guy looked at me and even ended up laughing because he was like, he actually asked me in Zulu, "Utini." He's like, "What are you saying?" So when he asked Utini, I ended up continuing in Swahili. I was angry. Tears were even coming out of my eyes. I was so angry
Oh,
and bitter at that time
oh,
because I'm like, why are you frustrating me? And then,
mm.
to cut the long story short, the person turned back to speaking English. When he started speaking English, I said, so you see, you could have just spoken English and we would have all understood it. So when I was talking to the Afropolitan Apostle, Pastor
Yes.
Darlington Steve, it made me realize
Mm.
that it's not only me who face some of these challenges, but the question is,
Wow.
after facing these challenges, are we also supposed to turn out to be bitter because somebody did this to us? No. The whole
Mm.
point is we are one. We are one. And
Yes.
the earlier we realize that we are one, the better for all of us. I always tell
Yeah.
people we are human beings with the same
Mm.
blood. It's red blood. No, nobody's is having green blood. It's red.
So
So
true.
it
So
doesn't
true.
matter which continent you find yourself in. It doesn't matter how you speak your English. Oh man, oh man. No, speak. As long as anybody can understand you, speak. Because the truth of the matter is, what makes the world beautiful is the differences in it. There is red roses,
Yes.
yellow roses, white roses, whatever colors. There is lilies. That is what makes the world beautiful. If we are all the
Mm.
same, the world will really be boring. So when I was talking to the Afropolitan Apostle, it made me realize that, you know what, let's look at the world in the other people's perspective. Okay, the South
Mm.
Africans have gone through so much challenges, the apartheid
Yeah.
over the years, and yet, yes, they've gone through emotional pain. Even them, they need to get to a point where they grow out of it, because whether they like it or not, right now, I am a
Mm.
Kenyan,
Mm.
yes, but I have South African kids.
Hey.
Tomorrow they do well. What happens? Who will be celebrating them? Is it not the
Mm.
South Africans more?
Mm.
Because they
Yeah.
are South African kids. I look at them every time, they'll be talking so proudly about their country. But when we were
Mm.
there, they were a bit hurt because they felt that their country is frustrating their mom. So
Mm.
that's the thing, that you, as African nations, we need to learn that we are one. And if we learn that
Mm.
we are one, let us remove competition. I remember when Afropolitan Apostle Darlington Steve said that the biggest problem with African countries, or the content of Africa, is greed. If we can take greed
Mm.
and put it aside, let us be
Mm.
contented with what we have. Let us be
Yeah.
contented with the opportunities that have been brought our way. It's very important.
Oh. Mm.
Yes, sir.
That's powerful. Allow me to take a moment and appreciate the following people that are with us on board.
Yeah.
We have Eken Maposa.
Okay.
Thank you so very much. We also have got Mfana Kamguga Kanda something. This is my cousin. Thank you so much, cousin, for being on board. We also have got Hlungs. Thank you so very much for being on board, Hlungs. And yeah, that was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. And we move from there. There's a lot we could reflect on. I mean, on the insight that you have given. It is not a secret that during apartheid, most of the freedom fighters were were in African nations.
Yeah.
You know, we've come to learn that even in Zambia, there's a place that was dedicated for South Africans.
Mm,
I was in Mozambique 3 times last year by the grace of God.
mm-hmm.
As we were driving past through a certain place, one of my hosts said, "This house belongs to the son of one of the former presidents, and he used to stay this side."
Mm, mm,
So you get to realize that. And also this is amazing because when we even study the the tribes in SA,
yeah.
some of them historically came from Mozambique, some of them came from Zimbabwe, you know, and some came from KwaZulu Natal, which is a bigger audience of the South African population. There are about
Mm,
11 million within the 65 million people that are in SA. 60 million South Africans, and they form 11 million of that audience.
yeah.
So you get to realize that it's just about. We also have got vendors who come far. Some of them are black Jews, you know, and they come from the top, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing how, if we face that issue of the need for Africans to be one, how important it is. Because, you know, one politician will put it this way, that in Lesotho, for an example, there's a gate, but there's no fence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine that there's a gate,
Yeah.
but there's no fence?
You know,
And yeah,
with that, I can analyze a lot of things because the fence, there is no boundaries. Everybody is welcome. We are one. You
yeah.
know. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
it was such a very powerful time that you guys had there, and we truly appreciate that. I'm having a comment here. I wanted to read it, please.
Ah, I wish I can be linked and comment on that political analyst. Now we need to talk of these issues. Yes, Mokandili Joshua. Yes, I know you, my brother. Please join in and send your comment. Please send them. We can talk because this is important.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, truly, it was so insightful. It's so impactful. The other thing that maybe I would wish to share, which is quite important for us as Africans,
Mhm.
it's the importance of empowering each other when it comes to the issues of having a vision.
Yeah.
A vision.
Mhm.
Because, you know, the scriptures teaches us that where there's no vision, the people perish.
Yeah.
And we learn that the Hebrew word there for perished simply means to lose self-control,
Yeah.
to lose you cannot restrain yourself.
Yeah. You
and
go
and
astray.
so much that, yeah, as an African in South Africa, I believe that if we can have visions and we have the grace to live for something, we will not have time to cut each other out and say, you should not come into my parents' house because you're not my mother's child.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we will be generous and say,
Yeah.
look, you have been there for us when we're fighting for liberation. You
Mm.
are here. We know you came here because you also have a dream. You want to achieve, you want to change your life, you want to change your
Yeah.
family, and
Mm.
let's share it together. When
Yeah.
there's vision, we are able to focus, we're able to concentrate on something. We are actually living for something. Dr. Miles Monroe said so many things, but one of the things that are outstanding was where there's no vision, where there's no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How did he put it? He said, where there's no purpose, abuse is inevitable.
Is inevitable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
where there's no purpose, abuse is inevitable. So it's key for us to say, look, how can we develop Africa together? How can we become better as a continent? And how can we impact the family of man globally? You know,
Mm.
and one last thought, maybe just to throw in, there was a prophecy that was given about Africa And the servant of the Lord that was used then said, saw Africa like a gun. I mean, you see, the continent is
Ah,
like
yeah.
this.
Yes, yes. I remember
Yeah,
that
but
years back. Mhm.
yeah. So
Mm,
when you take it and point it,
mm,
you
mm,
can see
mm,
that where the bullet comes through, it's in the southern part of Africa. The trigger is in Nigeria. The barrel, how you hold it, is in Ghana and nations around that, and
mm, mm.
how these African nations, all of them are so key to the end time revival of ushering the Lord of Glory, who is
Yeah.
coming very soon, and
Mm,
how the enemy will attempt to frustrate us as Africans, that we don't
mm.
love each other and we don't stand with each other. You
Yeah.
know, it's quite beautiful. I don't know what you have after those comments.
To be sincere, I've come to realize one thing. It's easier to judge, it's easier to point fingers, it's easier to run away from the sense of responsibility. We
Yeah.
always have a tendency of saying, this happened to me, hence I do this. This
Mm,
happened, hence I do that. But then I've come to realize if we can come to that place of saying, you know what, that happened, yes. But then how do we move
mm,
beyond this?
mm.
You understand? Because and the earlier we think of it that way, the better it will be for all of us. That, you know what, we are not meant to be here alone. There's a saying that says, no man is an island. I think we look at it in a very stereotyped way. Truthfully speaking,
Wow,
we need each other.
so
We
true.
do need each other. What I say today, it may be something but the
Mm,
angle at which I will say it will be something that will be like, wow, I didn't look at it that way. I didn't
wow.
see it that way. It's not that you didn't know. It's not that you're a novice to it. No, it's just the fact that you didn't look at it in the angle at which I'm looking at it. I look at the whole
Mm,
thing of making pap. South Africa, they call it pap. In Kenya, we call it ugali.
mm,
So, ugali in Kenya, our ugali is a bit hard, very hard.
mm.
We go farming, man. We eat that one that you like a stone, you take it and you hit somebody with it. So, that's our own ugali, right? And we
Mm,
even, the ones who are in the city, they take a knife nicely and cut it with the knife to make it more sophisticated. Okay,
really?
yes. Then you come to South Africa, they call it pap. Their pap is very soft compared
Mm,
to our own. It's very soft.
mm,
Also, the way the pap is made in South Africa and the way ugali is made, even though we are using the same maize flour, the
mm,
process is totally different. Then I came to realize when I
mm.
was speaking to some of the people from West Africa, what they call pap is like that thing of custard where you mix it with water. That one they call pap. It's totally
Mm.
different. So I thought about it. If we can be able to look at things in this way, always open up your heart and look at the other person's perspective. You understand?
Yes.
Look at how the
Mm,
other person look at things. You
mm.
may look at yours as the best. The other person will look at theirs as the best. But when we sit on the table, we realize it is the same thing. We are just using it in different ways, in diverse ways. We are
Wow.
one and the same people.
Mm,
We are from the same God. We are created in the image and the likeness of God. We are brothers and sisters. The earlier we acknowledge that, the better. We just all have different perspectives in life. We all just have different ideologies, but that does not make us, it should not allow us to fight. It should bring the beauty out of life. I have
wow.
brothers, I have sisters, I have cousins. Man, you should see how we disagree. We
Mm,
are the same blood. Man, you should see how we disagree. The other one is in
wow.
Timbuktu. The other one is in South Africa. The other one is in US. The other one is in Canada. Thought-wise, I'm giving an example that we will be everywhere thought-wise. But with all these
Yes.
things, when we realize we are one, we will still bring each other together. We will still
That's
communicate.
powerful.
It does not say that just because I have a different perspective in life that you are inferior. No, the fingers, the hand itself, we
Mm,
have 5 fingers on the hand, all of them different shapes, and all of them are important in their own ways. So we all need,
mm,
if we can look at life that way, If we can look, we can navigate life that way as Africans, as people. And another thing, the mentality
Mm,
people need to get out, the racial color,
mm.
all this, so and so is light, so and so is black, so and so. No, whether dark or yellow or green or chocolate, that is the beauty, the
Of
vastness of life.
God.
Make it beautiful.
Amen.
You know, look at me with my
Absolutely.
natural hair, bulging. There's somebody else who has straight hair. That is just who we are.
Yeah.
If we can appreciate ourselves that way, the beauty will come out. And the hands, I look at people differently. I'll be like, I like you. Wow. Let me learn more about who you
Mm,
are. So it helps
mm,
us to be versatile. It helps us to appreciate the beauty of what God has brought in on the table. It helps us to
mm.
look at things differently. Just as I gave an example, it's the same maize flour, but used to
Mm.
cook different things. You go to
Beautiful.
Mexico, they use that maize flour to make a lot of tortillas.
Mm.
Very different.
Wow.
So the
Beautiful.
same maize flour, different things, different ways, but it doesn't mean that mine is better and yours is inferior. No, that is what you're used to. This is what I'm used to. So the good part is that I can learn from you, you can learn from me. I can taste yours, you can taste mine. And then
Wow.
life will be beautiful. We make it our own.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, woman of God. You also had a guest, Mrs. Bradford, who had medical condition. Actually, there are two that you had who had medical conditions. The other one is the young boy, blessed be love. And for you to can have those kind of guests in the first place was such an honorable act.
Yeah,
And also exposing their struggles with the intention to help somebody be inspired by how some people are dealing with issues but don't give up. They keep positivity in their hearts and they fight
yeah.
every day
Mm,
and they
mm,
don't give up. They don't give up. I was really moved by both cases, you know. What are your reflections on those two powerful individuals? One, it's a matured lady, a
mm-hmm,
white lady.
mm-hmm.
The other one, it's a 14-year-old young man who is struggling with condition that affects muscles in his body to a point that he hardly can stand
Yeah.
and do things on his own. Please, your thoughts, ma'am.
You know, when I talk about Heidi Bradford, when I listened to what she was talking about,
Yeah.
I was not aware. I
Mm,
really, sincerely, I wasn't aware. I learned about the situation with her. I did not know that people can actually have a problem with what did we call it? DMM or something.
yeah, DMD, DMD, something.
DMD. Yes.
Yes.
I didn't realize people can have that is actually a condition. DMD, yes.
Mm, mm,
I learned it from her. And how we met, it was very simple because we were in a particular group together. So at the end, I came to realize it. Sometimes we look at people differently. Sometimes
mm.
we tend to judge people too quick, and we don't know what somebody is going through. You understand? Because you are
Yeah.
used to, okay, maybe headache. Okay, that is the only disease you know. You don't know how many other conditions are out there.
Wow.
Just because somebody has not, you've not heard about what they are going through, you should not be quick to judge people. When I heard about the DMD, I was like, wow, that's a condition. And I have met a lot of ladies going through this, and I didn't know that it's a condition. And as ladies, we are quick to judge each other. You'll be like,
Mm,
why are you bothering us? It's just menstrual pains anyway. No,
mm,
I realized no, it's not just menstrual pains. What the other one is going through, just because yours is not painful, because yours is normal, doesn't mean the other person's own is normal.
mm,
It really
mm,
opened up my heart and I became more understanding. It taught me to be
mm.
more empathetic, more compassionate towards the people that I know now. And
mm,
before I was like, maybe you are exaggerating. You look at somebody and now she's just exaggerating. No, don't be quick to
mm.
judge people. Don't be
Yeah.
quick. So
Mm,
talking to Heidi Bradford made me think twice and change my mentality. And then
wow.
when we come to the way she's with her family, the way the husband is understanding, I was like, wow, she has a good home. She has a good
Mm,
spouse. How many spouses are willing to understand? Very few.
wow.
You
Mm,
understand? Then when we bring me back to my beloved son, um, blessed Ndlovu. I call him
yes.
Bibi because he's blessed Barak and Ndlovu. A young boy
Oh.
that I saw being born, running. He
Mm,
ran like every other child. He was talking like every other child. To see him in that condition, that breaks my heart.
mm,
Looking at the family right now needing a wheelchair, and the more he grows, the more they will need different other wheelchairs to be changed. Hence I was
mm,
like, no, come
mm.
on guys, let's put hands together and help this family. It's not a joke. It's not just because you're not going through it doesn't mean it's not happening. It is happening. So when you look at things like that, you start to realize that just because you are not going through the pain that other people are going through doesn't mean that they are not going through that pain, and it doesn't mean that you are exempted. You should be grateful that you're not going through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. The last guest that you had, or one of the guests that you had, who made such a wonderful contribution, looking back at his life journey as one of Africa's finest recording, Malta award winning gospel artist, Mr. Prince Oku. That was another moment. That was another moment. And when I
Yeah,
was
you know.
watching,
Mhm.
when I was watching the two of you guys talking, it was so beautiful because when you talk to a recording artist and you're also a recording artist, there's a certain level of understanding that you have on each other,
Yeah.
and how he fought through, made it,
Mm.
touched lives, and is still traveling places,
Yeah.
both big and small,
Mm.
depending on how we define small or big,
Yeah.
villages, and also cities, nations, crisscrossing nations and touching lives. How was your reflection? What are some of the nuggets that you could glean from that conversation that you had with him?
To be sincere, Ambassador Okwi has navigated life, and as we say, the size of whatever it is that we go through is relative, whether small or big. But the guy has tried, and he's making great impact. One thing I've liked and I love about Ambassador Okwi is that Ambassador Prince Okwi, is that he is very humble, very, very
Yes.
humble. He talks to anyone.
Mm.
He's not the kind of person who will shun you because he doesn't know you. I have met him face to face. He speaks to
Wow.
everybody like a human being. Not only that, another thing I
Beautiful.
value so much about him, through all these things, he has never forgotten his relationship with God. When he is ministering as unto the Lord. He does it so much with all his heart. And another thing that I looked at and I realized that Ambassador Prince Okwi has a tendency of, giving glory to God. Whatever he is
Mm.
doing, challenges, especially as a recording artist, it's not easy. The
Mm.
world of art is not easy. I don't know why it's so corrupted. I don't know. I've been in
Mm.
here, and some of us we decide to back off because you're like, no, I'm not going to soil myself in that. But the truth of the
Mm.
matter is, he has made us realize that you can stand the test of time. Hence, I also hail the wife for standing through with him. The
Yeah.
song that touches me so much about him is Chimamanda. That song,
Mm.
literally, when I listen to the song, I'm like, wow, God, you are great. You can
Mm.
raise anybody from anywhere. And remember, he is from Nigeria, living in South Africa. I will
Mm.
categorically tell you that it is not easy to make it as a musician from another country in South Africa. I'm
Mm.
telling you firsthand because I've lived
Wow.
most of my life in South Africa. It has been God
Wow.
through it all. God has done it for him.
Mm.
So I'm so grateful to God for him. Listening to him encouraged me to realize that he has given so many people hope, and many people are still can still learn from him to be hopeful and trust God no matter what.
That's powerful. That's powerful. The last thoughts, maybe to focus on your presentations on the subject of rejection. And, and you did it in segments and dealing with different aspects of our lives, from family to marital issues to church issues, and also directed some of your points to people who are in corporate and making them understand the seriousness of rejection and how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And for me, what was also quite interesting was the fact that you were also being so transparent, looking at your life and how you have suffered rejection along the way. It's amazing. When you introduced the show today, you touched Romans 8, verse 28, where the Bible teaches us that, for we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Lord and them that are called according to his purpose. Please round up some few thoughts on that matter, that matter, that matter of rejection.
Wow, rejection is a weapon that the enemy has used to destroy a lot of organizations, because this is one thing that many people have not understood. We all feel rejected in different ways. Just
Mm.
because something does not affect you, don't think it doesn't affect me.
Or,
I've come to realize that we undermine somebody else's pain, and that is rejection. When you are dealing with rejection, allow yourself to be open minded and open hearted, because everybody, somebody, just by you doing, they feel rejected,
mm.
demoralized, and looked down on. While
Sure.
others, that means nothing to them.
Mm.
So when you're dealing with human beings and somebody, or especially if they can come to you and say, I feel hurt in this way and this way, open the door for people to know that you will not judge them. When they
Mm.
come through to you to speak to you, open up your heart, because in the churches that we are in the organizations, in our workplaces where we are, many people have walked out not because they wanted to walk out. In relationships
Mm.
with friends, many people have walked out not because they wanted to walk out, but because many of us made them feel
Rejection.
insignificant. They were not good
Mm.
enough. Hence,
Wow.
rejection can multiply continuously. If you don't value the person, try and be in their place, understand them, go down to their level before you lift them
Mm.
up to your own level.
Powerful. I've got a few comments for you, man of God, that I would like for you to go through.
Okay.
I will go through all of them so that we have a record of each. The first one is by Mfana Kamguga Kanda something. He just said, love it 100%. It's powerful. But go through the following four. Let's go.
I wish I can be linked and comment on that as a political analyst. Now we need to talk of these issues. Mokandeli Joshua, actually, I sent you the link. You didn't see it on time. You could have joined us. Next time, please check your messenger and then join us. I actually sent you the link to join us. You didn't. Okay, Vincent Otieno. Wow, what a strong topic. Food of thought. Thank you so much. That's actually my cousin. That's my younger brother. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. Mokandeli Joshua says again, as Africans, we need to teach our kids of other countries around us. I did study in two different countries. In SA, where hardly taught of other African countries, I went to study languages First, before you are taught of that, you need to learn the originality of the language and its people. We need to love our languages, and that will push us to love ourselves. It's true, we need to love our languages. At the same time, we need to be willing to learn other people's languages. Yes, at the same time, we need to be able to appreciate people, whether they understand our languages or they don't. So I appreciate you for that. Powerful. Thank you so much, Mukandili Joshua. I appreciate you. He's a political analyst right now, so we appreciate you, sir. I wish you joined us. I sent you the link. I'm sure you did not see it on time. Next time, please make sure you join us.
Woman of God, I am grateful that you gave me access into your space today. I truly appreciate it. I would leave you alone as you do your thing. Shalom.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. I really appreciate the comments. I really appreciate the engagement. Most of the time when we have a discussion like this, it is always very good for us to go back and recap and know what did we learn and why did we bring these topics to limelight. And it is necessary for us to learn from them. It is necessary for us to take them serious and grow from them, because each and every challenge that we face, there is a lesson to be learned. I believe that. I am an advocate of that, and I run the race. I talk the talk and I walk the walk. So I pray and I believe that each and every one of us will be able to do the same. Thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I will encourage all of us to join me every Tuesday as I have live streams, every Thursday as I also have live streams. If you look through the screen, you'll see how to connect with me. There's a lot of avenues, a lot of ways, but remember, we are all here to be able to bring you up to speed, challenge you so that you can live an empathetic and comfortable life, at the same time loving people and being contented with what God has given you as a person. It's never too late. God cares for each and every one of us, and we are here for a purpose. Nobody lives forever. One thing is for sure, all of us will go back to dust. From dust we came, and to dust we will go. So it doesn't matter what you think you have right now. Let me tell you one thing: appreciate people. For the greatest investment you can ever have is people. Remember, you are meant to be authentic and not flawless, or rather, you are meant to be real and not perfect. I love you all so much. God bless you. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Strength.